Recording is in progress. Good morning, y'all. It's Code Platoon. Evenings, weekends. This is Hotel Platoon. We're on week 11, day 4. We're deploying to AWS. This is super important. We will be deploying to AWS with our individual and group projects, our capstone projects, at the end of this cohort. The way we're going to prescribe doing this is not the best way. There's a lot of, you know, good ways to kind of pipeline this stuff out, good ways to kind of automate a deploy. That's most of my job. Um, and I'm happy to help with those things. Truly and honestly, we're going to do it as manually as we can, partly because we don't want to give you too many different tools to rely upon to get your stuff automated and deployed, and partly because I don't want to lose you as I'm kind of talking about the process. What we are going to do is set up an AWS account. We have done so. If you're following along the video, you can sign up here. Two, we're going to create and launch an EC2 instance with proper access configurations, security group rules, key pairs. What the hell is an EC2 instance? Virtual server in the cloud is what I want you to think about. It is a pretend tiny little machine. We'll be setting up a micro instance. You can pick how much, how much muscle you want for this thing. You pay for what you use. That's how it is. There are other tools from Amazon that will kind of auto scale and get larger or smaller as needed and just pay for what you use, not for what you ask for. This is a simpler, easy, basic. You're getting a machine somewhere else, and that machine is going to be able to be connected to the internet and will run even if you turn your computer off. This is a deploy that no shit goes out to the internet and exists. Security groups, key pairs. Well, a key pair is how we're going to SSH. Who knows what SSHing is?
It's logging into a remote um, resource or server using I forget what SSH stands for. Secure socket something. Yeah, but that's what it is.
Secure shell. Yeah, it's 3 letters, but it's just secure shell.
Mhm.
Yes, your description is probably easier to understand than this one. A cryptographic network protocol that provides a secure way. Shut up, nerd. We're remoting in from a terminal to another terminal, right? That's what it is. It is going to be, this is my terminal. I'm going to hop onto another machine with this command, and then I'll be on that new machine. It's not unlike execing into a running Docker container. This is just a machine rather than a container running locally, right? Anything on my network running, if I were to boot that PC up and I know the credentials to get into it, and I know the name of it, more importantly, I could hop onto my own PC and do anything I want pretty easily. That is how we are going to be connecting to this instance. We're going to spin it up in the cloud. We're going to make a key pair. A key pair is, here's the public key, here's the private key. They talk to each other. We're going to put that public key onto that EC2 instance. And then when we go knock on its door, it's going to say, show me your key. We're going to say, hey, here it is. I'm good. It'll let us in. That's how we prevent people from just breaking in to our EC2 instance. They're going to need, it's better than a password. Passwords can be cracked into. Good luck, trying to figure out a key pair. Security groups, basically who's going to be allowed to do what on this website. And then the baby, easy, little, tiny, baby poo-poo way we're going to be doing this deploy is we're going to SSH into it, and we're just going to clone down the repo. Nothing fancy, no automation, no, crazy pipeline that's doing checks and doing it manually. We're hopping on there, and we're going to clone it. But again, all I want for us to do today is to be able to get something onto that EC2 instance that we made, and we want it to run. Any questions about that?
Nope.
I kind of prerequisited, that's not the word. I talked to the class before this, do it for the camera. This is complicated, I think. Amazon, when you want to buy stuff, real easy, best in the industry. AWS, for some, God knows what reason, is a hellhole of poor UI design. It looks like it was designed by aliens, but we're going to work through it. If you feel like you get lost on these pages, so do I. I have specifically not looked at this ahead of time, even though I've done this before, in case things move around, because I want to find these things on this page while you find them as well, to prove that it can be done, and also to prove that, Jordan doesn't know everything. Sometimes he's learning along with us, and that's the takeaway. I don't want you to all think I've got all this crap memorized. I fully understand this is going to get a little confusing, and you might think, what's the point? I want to learn coding. Well, your code's worthless until it's deployed. So, yep. This is why we do AWS, yada, yada. Primary AWS service we'll be doing is the EC2 instance, as we talked about. That is a virtual machine just up running in the cloud. How do we do this? Well, we log on to our AWS account and we search for EC2. Mine is in recently visited, but if it wasn't, I would go over here to the hamburger menu, check out all services. Look at all these wonderful tools. Game development. We're here in compute. EC2 should be the top. If you are following along, do follow along. Has anyone not found the EC2 instance? Anyone different than mine? Lovely. From the EC2 console, click Launch Instance. Give it a name. Then choose the free tier, Amazon Linux 2023. That's probably a little outdated. Let's see what the free whatever instance is here. I'm going to hit the, just launch instance. Yeah. So it should take us to a new page. Cool beans. From the EC2 page. Ignore all this crap. I'm looking for the bright yellow button right here. Launch instance. Takes us to this page. Launch an instance. What do I want to name this? It's a machine, okay? It's a running instance of this EC2 machine. You can call it whatever the hell you want to. I like to call it what it's doing. What are we doing today? Well, we're going to deploy the people getter. I'm going to call it people getter. Maybe that's probably fine. It doesn't matter. If we wanted to get fancy with it, I'd probably do something, just for the sake of scripting. If I do want to script some of these things out, probably easier to not have open spaces in names of things. Maybe this is a better name. And then maybe if I had multiple instances of it, such as dev, test, production, release, whatever you want to call it. Let's be let's do the smart thing. Let's call it people getter dev. I'm gonna spit this out. This is gonna be the dev environment. This is not going to be the one I want people going to. It's the one I'm going to be testing on. If I had a production one later, I'd make that prod probably, and I would deploy that. Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about? What's dev? What's prod? Any questions? It's not a dumb question. I don't think we've covered
Yeah,
things like this.
development and production.
Right. So then we'll call this one dev. That's what I'm going to call it. Quick start. We can pick any of these we want. Let's stick with this Amazon Linux one. It's free. No, it is still a 2023. Great. You have a lot of options available to you. Ooh, what's that? Is that new? Don't matter. We're gonna keep this top one. Just notice there's a lot of a lot of different machine images available to us. Architecture, we're not touching that. We're not touching any of this. This is gonna be the username, all this stuff. We don't have to worry about too much of that right now. Instance type. Well, there are many. You get some real big ones here. These are all, C5AD. What the hell does that mean? 12x large. Well, I'm not too worried about it. But I can see here, we're talking about 8 CPUs, 16 gigs, some other things going on. It's got the pricing in there. But this micro instance, 1 CPU, 1 gig of memory, not real powerful. We're not doing anything crazy. That should be fine for us. Yep. Yep. Create a key pair. This is going to be some new stuff potentially to you guys. Proceed without a key pair, not recommended. Key pair, if you want info on it, oh, does it open to specify whatever. A key pair. This is going to give me a better description than what I'm going to give. Nah. We're going to use SSH keygen. Well, actually, I think this is just going to give us one. You can generate a key pair. There's a private key and a public key. The private key you keep. The public key is where you give to other people. Wherever you want to put. That's what we're going to slap up here. When you go knock on that door, it's going to say, "I've got this key. Let me see your key," and you share them. And that's how the SSH connection is going to be made. You should use key pairs for lots of stuff. I don't know if we've set up key pairs for GitHub, but you should do that. And well, this will make it more complicated. We'll talk about that. Create a key pair. I don't need to know what any of this stuff is. I do need to name it. This is also whatever the hell you want to name it. I'm going to call it people getter keys key. Let's just call it people getter. I think it's going to be obvious. .pem, let's not change that. We don't need to change anything. We don't need to worry about any of this. We're not going to get into the nitty gritty. RSA is latest and greatest. This is also fine. I'm not changing anything though. I'm creating a key pair. I gave it a name. Hit button. I've got a key pair that's just been sent to my downloads. Yeah, don't lose that. We need that key pair. Under allow SSH traffic, choose my IP. Also select allow HTTP traffic from the internet. Okay. Allow HTTP traffic from the internet. Anywhere, my IP. Lock it down a little bit. We could say anywhere if we don't want to run any issues later, but we'll see. All right, that's it. We're not going to play with anything else. We're not going to mess with storage. We're not going to mess with volumes. All we've done, we're saying, hey, I want an instance. I want a VM. You're going to call it this. I'll take this image. The size is good. It's free. Create a key for me. This can be created anytime, but we're telling Amazon, hey, go ahead and make that key for me. I could make it myself, but just do it. Thank you. Thanks for the help. Call it this. And then we're saying, hey, this needs to be able to be hit by my IP. I kind of want this to be anywhere so you guys can test it and hit it as well. Maybe we'll fix that in a bit. But this is the security group. We can create a different one later. We're going to say create a new security group. My IP should be able to hit it with an HTTP connection. Yeah. Launch instance, way over here to the right. Yeah. We all caught up? Straightforward enough. You've created an EC2 instance. Great. Before you can use it, you'll have to make some code changes. Config update. This is more to do with the code we're going to deploy. PeopleGetter wants to run on 8,000. Right now, your JavaScript fetch request is going to yada yada 8,000. Once everything is running on AWS, that will work. You'll need a couple of things. Oh. We need to, whoopsies. Where is PeopleGetter from? Do I not have that link here? All right, maybe I should have looked at this lecture a little bit closer. I forgot. We got to, where's PeopleGetter at, huh? Let me pause real quick. Oh, no, wrong pause. Recording resumed. Here's PeopleGetter. That should really be in the README. It's just in our org. You can find it if you look for repos in our org. This is PeopleGetter. Let's clone that down, get some changes going. I guess what's the best way to do that? So I guess you can fork it over. Let's fork it. Jordan OS, PeopleGetter, yada yada, main branch only, create fork. Cool. This is my PeopleGetter. Oops. There it is. Okay. Here's PeopleGetter. It's ready to go. We're on the main branch. One small change is our front-end JS fetch request is going to localhost, but the name 127 pot or 0.0.0.1. We're just going to have to change that to localhost, or sorry, replacing localhost with your new server's IP address. You can get that from here. So this is what we're going to have to do. EC2 instance, let's look at our instance. You should be able to track it from there. But if you lost it, just here on the left, hamburger menu, you can always navigate back. If we get lost, I don't know where that is. Hamburger menu can get us to the EC2 instance. It's also here. Let's check out our instances. There it is. This is the one we created. How do I look at this? Is this everything? Well, notice there are some links. So to see more details about this, there's not a big box we can click on. We have to click on this instance ID here. And then we'll see all this data for instance. Wow, that's a lot of random stuff. I'm only focused on this public IPv4 address. How do you remember that? Well, this lecture is helping you out with that. Let's not worry too much about the details there. This public IPv4 address is going to be the address of our EC2 instance. It wants me to copy that and replace app.js within front end with that there. Seem good? Well, no Vim? This is what we should do instead. Since we're all working on, leave that alone. Leave that alone. Leave me alone. Look at all that. Look at these pop-ups. Vim never gives me a pop-up. So I've cloned down people getter, forked it, all that, cancel. Yeah, okay, fine, do it. Oh my Lord. Front end, app.js, IPv4 address. That's what gets replaced. Questions? Did anyone get lost with that? Right. We need to allow our EC2 instance to accept traffic on port 8000. How do we do that? Allowing traffic on port 8000. Let's look at our EC2 instance. Things get moved around. We could update this, but generally, there it is in security. All these other things, don't look at them right now. Just look at security. Again, we're on the EC2 instance page, detail page, I suppose. A list of things here. Security is what we want. Click on the security group link. In this instance, whatever that is. For ours, it's going to be whatever these are. Those aren't going to match up. That's okay. And then we're going to edit it. To edit the inbound rules, click add rule. Well, we need to get into it. So looking at this security group here, let's launch that wizard. And they've changed this. This is all new stuff. Oh my Lord. And then group ID. If I lost you all. Let's look at the security groups. I launched the wizard. It opened a new page. I'm looking at my security groups. If I want to edit one, I need to click on it, take a look at the detail view. And now I can edit inbound rules. Should have a page like this. What do we want? Add rule, allow traffic from anywhere. This is not good, but we'll do it for now. Oh wait, what get lost. Add a new rule, all traffic anywhere. Good. Add a rule right here. All traffic. Scroll down to it. Source. Let's do anywhere IPv4. Save them rules. Donezo. Now we have a third rule here. Well, sorry, here. We all got that? Anyone get lost?
Nope.
Configuring the server. Once your server is running, you'll need to SSH into it and install Docker. This thing is just a plain image. It doesn't come with Docker. We got to do that. let's get into it. From our EC2 instance, let's get back to it. I'm lost. EC2 instances. Do we have any running? It is running. That didn't update properly. All right, I'm looking at my instance again. From the detail view of your EC2 instance, click connect and then SSH. This is the detail view. Connect right here. Clicked on our EC2 instance. Detail view. Connect. Ooh. Nope, nope. There it is, SSH client. That's what I want to do. And because we set our key pair up with AWS, it's being helpful in that it's giving us exactly the command we need to run in our terminal. There's a few things we need to do first. Open an SSH client that you should have SSH installed on whatever the hell you're using. I can prove it to you. Should be there. It may be somewhere else, which also works. You should have SSH. I'd be shocked if you didn't. I don't know what the hell kind of machine you're running if you don't. Locate the private key file. Where is that? Cisco, you know where it went? Adam, do you know where it went?
Oh, you didn't hear me?
Oh, no, I didn't hear you. Sorry, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's depends on where you saved it, but wherever you saved it, it's good to save it in a .ssh folder.
Yeah, I agree. It went here. Where's that?
It went where? Where'd you say it went to?
I don't know. I downloaded it here. What's that? How can I find this? What do I do from here?
Hit the little file.
You can do that. If you're not a nerd, it's actually in our downloads folder. LRT. That one right there. There's the PIM. So what I want is move peoplegetter.pem to SSH. Yeah, this is fine. Right there. We can open it up, look at it, and then drag it wherever we want it to go. I want us to be familiar with the terminal, understand with Mac OS and, well, a lot. It's going to be in the downloads folder at the home directory. So all I've done is I went to downloads, looked for it, ls-lart, basically ls, show me the hidden files, give me a list of what's going on, put them in time, and then reverse that time. You could probably get away with that. But I just, I like to see when it was pulled down. And all this is give me the most recent stuff. There it is. SSH directory, if you don't have one, should be here at your home directory. .ssh should be hidden. Here's where other keys live and exist. This should exist on your machine. I would be shocked if it doesn't, but if it doesn't, we can fix that. From there, I want to just move my key, whatever it was called, to the SSH folder. Like that. We go check out that SSH folder, get there like that. There it is. PeopleGetter right there. Let's look at it. Whoa, don't look at my password, y'all. Don't look at my secret thing. This is my private RSA key. There is a public key associated with it. That public key, I bet you, is going to exist on that EC2 instance once we get in. Why do I put it in the SSH directory? It's a good place to be. That seems like a smart place for it. But SSH, this command here, goes looking for keys in this directory. When I give it a command and I tell it there's a key, it's going to say, gotcha, I'm going to go check all my keys. And it's going to run through everything in this SSH folder. We can look at that with -v when we do, commands like that, but we'll see it runs through our keys, says, is this the right key? No. Is this the right key? No. And it does all these kind of different checks. If the key exists in your SSH folder, an SSH command will look for it there. That is why we put it there. This is a safe place for it, where it belongs. Now I don't have to, I can lose that download. Okay, run this command if necessary to ensure your key is not publicly viewable. This is important. Let's talk very minorly about commands. We don't have to super well. I mean, it gave us the command chmod 400. Look at these commands here. LS, LART, y'all know what that is. Show me everything. And then I just grepped. I didn't want to see all these. I said I just grep people getter from this directory. Here it is. This is people getter. This is that file. It's that PEM file, right? Jordan's the owner. He's the user. Staff is the group that can touch it. This is the number of bits in it. This is the last day it was touched. It is not a directory. Jordan can read, write, and not execute. Staff can read, and that's it. All users, if you were to SSH onto my machine, you could read it, assuming you weren't, me. But that's too open. This is a key. Keys need to have certain levels of restrictions on them. So we changed the mode of operation to 400. I'm not going to teach you 8-bit binary, octal, decimal form, whatever. But basically 4 equals read nothing, nothing. 0 equals nothing, nothing, nothing. 0 is nothing, nothing, nothing. If you like octal, 400 is great. We can accomplish the same thing with user plus read. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Basically, with the octal value, we can set all of them at the same time. If I wanted to update the file permissions, let's say, oh, hey, I want the group to be able to use this. Chmod also accepts words. Remember, we've got user, we've got group, and we've got all. I want the group to be able to read from this group plus what? Read? R? People getter? Look at that. Oops. Let me filter that down for you. Well, now the group can read. Why am I beating you up with this stuff? File permissions are a common problem we run into. I don't expect you to remember all this. I'm hoping some of it is sticking. A lot of times people get lost and a file can't be read and they're stuck. It's not that hard, especially on a Unix terminal. One of the main advantages of doing Linux-based things is we can very easily read and change permissions of these files. This is important when we're trying to make things executable, readable, stuff like that. We shouldn't be afraid of this. Read for Jordan West. Read for staff. Nothing for everyone else. But we need it to be 400. So I'll show you maybe later how this can be broken. In fact, you know what? I'm going to leave it. Yeah, no, I don't want to lose my mind with it. How would I get rid of this read here? This needs to be only Jordan readable. How do I get rid of that read for staff, for group? Remember, I broke it by doing this. Change mode of operation, group add read. Anyone have a guess to how we can put this back?
How about a minus read?
Yeah, that'll get it. Fixed. Or we could also just use this command again. It'll set it exactly back the way we want it. SSH keys will not work without the proper permissions. They're going to say that's too broad. You need to be safer. Then connect to your EC2 instance using its public DNS. If you've gotten ahead of me, that's fine. The example here, though, is probably what you want to do. This is just telling you this is how you would connect to it, but we need to run the command. So what is this? SSH, secure shell, -I, provide it with a file. How does Jordan know that? Oops. Jordan doesn't know that. I don't have to remember anything. It's all right here in the manual. Let's get down to that identity file. That's why file starts with an I. This is just a link to wherever that file is. Or sorry, a path to wherever that file is. We're doing an SSH command. It might be able to figure it out on its own if we had known hosts and stuff. Remember, like I said, SSH is going to look through our SSH folder. This is a little bit more, hey, use this specifically. We're going to use my key. Your key might be differently named. So SSH with a key. This is the user we're going to be logging in as. Remember, on my machine, I'm Jordan West. On this machine, we're going to be EC2 user. At, what is this? Adam, what is this?
I don't know what I'm looking. A URL?
Yeah.
An IP?
Trying to figure out the best way. Here we go. That's just the name of my EC2 instance.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, that's just the name of this instance I spun up. I know it's got a crazy name, all that jazz. We can make aliases and whatnot, but this is just saying, hey, secure shell as this user into that instance. I could have just blasted through it and said, do it. I want to at least hopefully impart some understanding and knowledge of what we're doing. This command will work from VS Code as well. I'm just going to use my terminal though. Whoa. Yada, yada, yada. Can't be established. Authenticity of a host. Is this an issue? I don't think so. This key is not known by any other names. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm doing what I think I should be doing. Oh, this is cute. It's got a little bird. This is just, we're in the instance. We're in. How do I know? I'm EC2 user. I'm in this IP. I bet you that IP looks familiar if you're really, really good with numbers. But I bet you it's probably that. Yep, that's it. We're in the instance. We've spun up an EC2 instance. We're in it. I could end the lecture here because you all know how to clone. You all know how to start up Docker. You're fine. We got the EC2 instance running. Whatever we do from here is up to you. But let's poke around. We really are in a machine. Let's look at that SSH. Ooh, authorized keys. That's my key. Well, that's the public version of it. That's how we got in. Who am I? I'm EC2 user. What's going on here? What do I got? Do I have Docker? Docker? It doesn't know what Docker is, and that wouldn't work anyways. Back to the lecture. Now that I ran way off into the rails on that, I want you to understand what you're doing. Uh-huh. 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 Yep. We want to use Docker. We didn't have to use Docker. We could do really anything we want on here. Again, this is this is a brand new machine. I could touch python.py, vi into that Python, they print hello, oops, hello world. Python's not installed. There ain't squat installed on this. Vim is installed, luckily. It's a tiny little machine. Okay, there's not a lot installed here. So we're going to slap on a few things. We're going to use Yum to do this. Yum is a package manager for Linux. We're going to install Git because we need Git. We have to go get our people getter, right? We need Docker. We want something to run Docker. User mod Docker. This is all Docker and Git. This command shouldn't be necessary. This is outdated a little bit, so I commented it out here. Docker Compose used to not be part of Docker. Now it's part of Docker. I strongly believe we don't need to install it. Again, probably don't need that either. Let me just update that real quick. Try to get smart about this. I should have deleted it, but this is probably losing you all. That's okay. Commented those out. Those aren't going to run. New grep Docker. We'll see what happens. Ideally, we copy and we paste. Yum is going to go get us Git and Docker. It might do it a little slow. Again, we're rocking 1 gig of RAM, 1 CPU. This ain't a powerful little machine we got here. But it looks like it's finding things. Lots of junk. This would probably run in about 2 seconds on your own machine, by the way. Anyone, any issues running the commands I've ran up to this point?
I was one of the magic people that don't have the SSH.
You don't have SSH installed on your machine.
Yeah. Then I tried to do it and then I just messed something up, so I'm here.
All right. I will help you troubleshoot that at the end of the lecture because that is a very specific weird thing. Anyone else?
Nope.
All we're going to do now is clone. There's different ways to do this. It's a 3-step. Is this necessary? I don't think that's necessary. We are probably going to skip that section, even though I think it's important. Setting up SSH keys in GitHub is great, but we can get around it. I have SSH keys in my GitHub because I'm a responsible little coder here. Oops. Where are they at? Come on, Jordan. No, it's in profile, and it should be, oh, edit profile? Not edit profile. Where are my keys? A reminder. There we go. It's in settings, SSH GPG keys. I've got a few keys set up, whatever, I don't care, Intel key. This is all my different machines that need to hit my GitHub profile. You can get around that though when we go to clone something, if you recall. You can just clone with HTTPS. We should be able to do it with a password. So some time. I'm going to do this at the end of class. The passkey, query tonight, should report. Oh. I see why it wants me to do this. That's right. We hit this lecture again later in the course, and things are a little different. I got ahead of myself. Let's just set this SSH key up. I don't need to go off script. This is how we're going to do it. Actually, we're going to pause the lecture. I'm going to get Nicole caught up. Recording is resumed. So SSH keys in GitHub. Those key pairs we created allowed us to SSH into our EC2 instance. We could, this would be bad practice. We could use that same key pair to perform a different function, which would be pulling stuff from Git. We're not going to do that. We're going to have our own keys and we'll set them up, and it's real easy. We need to register record, yeah. Let's create a key. So Amazon created us a key somehow, magically. It's not magic. We're gonna do it ourselves with a command such as this, ssh keygen. This will, I'm gonna stay in that instance, keep it over here, but I'm doing this locally, right? This is Jordan's Mac Mini. That's where we're at. I would like to do this in the SSH directory. That's probably the best place to do this. And I'm going to run this command. Generating public private RSA key pair. Enter file in which to save the key. If I do nothing, it will save it right here. Seems good to me. Enter passphrase or empty for no, or sorry, enter passphrase, empty for no passphrase. I'm going to hit enter again. Enter same passphrase again. Easy. I'm going to hit enter again. I don't need a password for this. Here's some art. Something has been created. This has been created. IDRSA pub at 11:30. Yep, that's me. Dunzo. You will be prompted for a file path. Yada yada. It doesn't matter. Prompt you for optional phrase. Don't leave it blank. Don't put a passphrase in your SSH. It's stupid. Now type cat IDRSA pub. We know what cat is. Read it. This is the public key. This might look familiar earlier when I was looking at the known hosts up here. Maybe. Oh, sorry, authorized. Yeah, that's just the private, or sorry, that's just the public key for whatever it was Amazon created there. Here's ours. That's the public version. The private version looks like this, maybe with OpenSSH. Real big, lots of words, random junk. But this private one we don't give away. This one's ours, this one stays here, this one lives with us. We're going to be giving the public one to GitHub, which is this. To register your account, first navigate to GitHub account settings, access, We're at GitHub. Lovely. Yeah, GitHub, here's a GitHub stuff. Oh, it's my buddy. Um, click on your name. Go to settings. Over here on the left, SSH and GPG keys. Jordan's got some keys. We're going to add a new SSH key. Straightforward. Not a GPG. Those are different. SSH key. My new key for class. This is the one I just created. It's going to be authentication key, not a signing key. That's different. Signing key is like verifying it's you for GitHub operations, basically is what I'm saying. Key. Well, I'm going to paste in the public key. How do I know? Well, GitHub's being helpful, saying, hey, it might start with SSH, RSA, or something like that. There it is. I'm just going to cat it. I'm going to copy all of it. I don't know if this bit is actually necessary, but it helps you remember where it came from. And I'm going to paste it. Then I'm going to hit add SSH key. Oh my God. It is me, GitHub. It is me. Lovely. My new key for class is right here. I can't ever go look at that again. This is not what I pasted. This is a SHA created at the time. That's locked in GitHub. It's recorded. You could look at my key if you wanted that way. I'll delete this later. It's not going to do anything. Plus, I'm only using it for this. But now I have unlocked a secret ability. And what that secret ability is, if I want to clone something, I can use SSH because I have it. HTTPS requires me to say, hey, I'm Jordan West. Hey, this is my password. I don't have to do that. I got SSH now. I got a different command. Back to the lecture, though. We've registered it. Key is registered. You can now copy both the public and private variations of the key up to your EC2 instance. This is stupid. What we could have done and probably should have done, I think is smarter instead of this, is yeah, we could have just generated that key here and that would have made more sense. Because I don't care. All this key is I intend to use it on this instance here. So creating it here and then copying it over, kind of silly, but this is what we're going to do. This is what it wants us to do. We're going to copy this key, these keys, onto our EC2 instance. If we look back at our last SSH command, which was this, you need to find it again, you could go connect SSH client. This is mostly it. It's very similar. The only reason I'm copying that over, we're going to perform an SCP, a shell, a secure copy paste, whatever you want to call it. I forget what SCP stands for. It is a way to SSH things over, make an SSH connection, copy a file over. In fact, you know what? I think this is stupid. I'm going to do it this way. Screw that other key. Leave it alone. We're on our EC2 instance here. Let's just make the key here. This makes more sense to me. Screw this SCP command. I don't want to copy over junk. We don't need to do that. That's goofy. Instead, let's just generate a key on our instance. My name at Gmail. That's fine. Enter, enter, enter. There it is. Keys exist. I didn't have to create, I didn't have to move them over. Who cares about all this? All I need to do now is get that public key, like we did. Let's copy it over. Let's go to my keys. Let's create a new key. EC2 key, instance key, paste that, add EC2 instance key here. Now it exists. I can delete this old one here. Don't need it. I don't know whatever I don't care. Oh, I guess it's the one I've used. All right, I probably caused myself some issues here, but this is fine. You'll see what I did. You'll follow what the lecture suggested we do is create the key locally, which is good. I want you all to be able to do that so that you can use SSH all the time. But then it wanted to clone your keys over to an EC2 instance. I don't really like that. Let's just make sure the EC2 instance, yeah, these keys are free, by the way. You can make as many of them as you want. Let's give the EC2 instance its own key, and we'll just have two. Really, I pulled in the last 9 months from that. Done so. I added the key from the EC2 instance. Yep. It's all fine. We'll see if I run into any issues. With the repo cloned on your EC2 instance, let's back up. Now with SSH configured, git clone this right here. Golf evenings and weekends. Jordan. That's not the name of this. I don't know how these things don't get picked up in my larger runnings of these commands. That should have been handled by them. I said, oops, 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 oops. Please. Refresh your web page. Also, oh my, why? Did I not just fix that? Why did that not commit? It is. It's just not showing up. That's fine. Oh. Oh. Fixed the wrong thing. Well, I fixed the right thing, but there we go. Two instances not caught here. We're just cloning. Git clone. This is it. This is the command. That should be good. Let's try it on an EC2 instance. Let's not do it in the SSH directory. Let's do it at the top level. CD, we're at the top level. We're at home. Git clone this. Let's see what happens. Yes. Wow. It worked. No problems whatsoever. It used the key that I created to connect to my account on GitHub and shook hands and was happy. Recall earlier that we needed to make a code change. However you want to do that is up to you. Remember, I did this locally. Oh, oopsie doopsies. I did this locally. I updated this, but I never really fixed it. Let me just git add, git commit, fix link, git push origin main. Now it's up there. But people getters my fork, not the Platoon one. So this is what I actually needed to clone. and what you'll need to clone as well if you're doing your own fork. Clone your own fork. Get her too. Yeah, I even grabbed the wrong one. Git clone this one. Donezo. There it is. We look at people getter, front end, VI app. There it is. That has been updated. We're good. We got the right one. We got my clone. We got my fork of my clone. Spinning up the containers. This script should do it. We'll see if everything's installed properly. After me making some random updates to the procedure. This should run some Docker commands. Ooh, I wonder if it's going to fail. I think it might. Compose. Hey, look at that. It just started. It's running on an EC2 instance. Make sure all three containers are running. Well, I don't think that start all command disconnects properly. We're going to assume they're all running. And we'll check here in a sec. So this ideally is up. To visit your deployed application, you'll need to get your EC2 instance public IP address from the detail view. Back to AWS. Back to our instance. And make sure I read that right. Public IPv4 address. Public IPv4 address. Open address. Can't be reached. Why not? Well, probably because we opened an HTTP to all, not HTTPS. This is going to give us HTTPS. Let's delete that S. Still no? Interesting. Did I mess that up? Just double check. Well, are we running? I don't think start all does exactly what I want. API start, Docker run, remove, Docker run, da, 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 da. HD. Docker PS. That's running. That's running, but all three are not running. What is not running? Python server is up. The database is up. The end is not up. Huh? Oh, wait a second. We didn't hit the right port. That's all. Had I paid better attention. So this is where I needed to go. We have made a connection. Message success. I forget what other endpoints you can hit on this thing. Uh, all CSS is not coming through. But we're hitting this endpoint. Gosh darn it. It's up. It exists. This API exists. I think because I'm hitting 8,000 is probably my problem here. So that's the base URL. Oh, wait, what's the URL for? Should I pay better attention to the curriculum? I'm not serving. What are my front ends not serving? Oh, it's my front end's not serving. So I'm hitting the back end. The front end's just not up. I don't know why. I think some things have changed. We'll figure that out. Is it people getter 2 I'm supposed to pull down? Maybe that's what's up. So we're all on the same page. The front end's just not running. We haven't started it up. I'm going to take a guess that people getter 2 might have a proper front end. Yeah. We'll give this a shot. Ah, yeah. Now. There it is. Oopsie doopsie. Yeah, people getter 1 doesn't have a front end running. People getter 2 sure does. How did that get jacked up? Questions. Is anyone else able to replicate? Do you have something running on your EC2 instance?
Nope. I can't get logged into my EC2 instance.
All right.
It
Where
says
is everyone?
oh, go ahead.
Permission. I will troubleshoot that next. I want to know where everyone's at and what I got to chase down next. Getting in the EC2, I can fix that. Nicole, how far did you get?
I have it. I was able to start up the Docker container, but I'm not able to hit it from
All right.
well, I'm doing people getter, so. But I wasn't able to, for some reason, when I check my containers, it's only starting up one container, so I'm trying to go back into the clone and see why it's
Okay.
only one of them instead of all, instead of like the two of them that it's supposed to start. But
Art.
Where am I?
I guess I can stop the recording. The rest of this will be digging in, troubleshooting, but there we go. Good